Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Jian Kun from Kyushu University Institute for Asian and Oceania Studies. Our institute is organizing this event. Welcome in this very busy afternoon. You can come to this venue to enjoy with us. So the event is, the name is called Kyushu University Forum, KYUDAI Now, Ankara. And this is a series of our activities. So we are doing this KYUDAI Now in different Asian countries. And actually this is our very first event in Ankara. Yes, so today we have several very honored guests. First, I would like to introduce our Vice President, Kyushu University, Professor Shimizu Tsuji, for the welcome remarks.
Okay, hello everybody. Hello. So thank you very much for coming today to this forum. So I'm so happy to be here, having you all in this venue. And it is my great pleasure and honor to have two special guests. One is His Excellency Mr. Korkut Güngön, former ambassador of the Republic of Türkiye in Japan, and currently serving as the Director General for the Bilateral Political Affairs for Asia Pacific in Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And the other is Mr. Tahara Koji, Deputy Chief of Mission, Embassy of Japan in Turkey. Thank you so much again for coming. And probably, first I have to introduce what this KYUDAI Now means. Many of you may not know, familiar with the KYUDAI, you know. This means the Kyushu, a short name for Kyushu University in Japanese. So KYUDAI Now literally means introducing the current Kyushu University for you. So today we have a variety of professors giving you the lectures in different fields so that you can know, what kind of researches, activities, and education we are doing in our university. And usually this kind of forum is focusing on one field, like engineering or politics or medicine or something like that. But this symposium is a little bit different. We'd like to give you the multidisciplinary subject so that again you can know more about our university. And this KYUDAI Now is a kind of series activity. We have done this, we started this 3 years ago. And we have done this in different countries, such as Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Bangladesh, and Mongol. I can't tell you all, but many countries in Asia, and exception is in Egypt. That was held in last year, and this is the very first time here in Turkey, in Ankara. And the main target for us is the alumni people actually. So we'd like to keep and deepen our relation with the Kyushu University alumni. That's the very first aim for us to start this activity. And happy to say that we have just organized the Association of Turkish Kyushu University alumni just early this year. So that's why we have a very good reason to have this symposium here in Ankara today. And, but of course, the audience is not only the alumni people, and I just got a list of the registrants. And there are lots of different kind of people, and many of them are from the university. And when I take a look at it, I'm sorry, but there are universities I may not so familiar with. So many university name here, and also industry or local government, and so different kind of people. And also not only the faculty or senior people, but also I'm surprised to see there are many students as well. So it's so nice for us to have all of you. And one special thing or first trial for us in this program today is that we have one alumni person at the end of this program to give you and talk to you his experience of his life in Kyushu University. So especially for the student and maybe for the faculty members in the university, because you can learn directly from him what he experienced, what he learned. And I hope many of his experiences are good ones, but probably he may tell you that some difficulties or challenges and something like that. And I strongly believe that you will enjoy it. Okay, so this forum is starting, but I do hope this event will be a good chance for both of us to see new friends and know much better between us. Also, that for us to create something new here today. So let's enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Shimizu. Today we have two honored guests who will give opening remarks. First, let me invite His Excellency Ambassador Fukun Kyungen to the stage, please. And Ambassador Kyungen is now Acting Director General for Bilateral Political Affairs, taking charge of Asian Pacific in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Türkiye. He's also a former ambassador of the Republic of Türkiye to Japan. So his speech will be given in Turkish language and will be interpreted to Japanese by our staff here over there. Please.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much to you, to the Kyushu University. I had an opportunity to visit your university a while ago. I remember it was a fantastic experience. I still remember my conversations with you during that visit. Yes, indeed, my presentation, my address will be in Turkish, if I may, and I think the translation will be back to back. Is that so?
Yes.
Okay, it will not be a simultaneous. Paragraph, that will be easy. Kyushu Üniversitesi Uluslararası İlişkilerden Sorumlu Başkan Yardımcısı Profesör Doktor Sayın Shimizu Shuji, Japonya'nın Ankara Büyükelçiliği Misyon Şefi Yardımcısı Elçi Sayın Tahara Koji, Türk-Japon Vakfı Başkanı Sayın Necat Bora Sayan, sanırım daha sonraki aşamada bizlere katılacak, saygıdeğer akademisyenler, sevgili öğrenciler ve değerli konuklar.
中トルコ共和国日本国大使館とあら工事工水学科九州大学副学長清水修二副学長トルチキゲン文化センターのネジャット・ボラサヤン理事長ご列席の先生方学生の皆様 そしてご来場の皆様、
Bugün burada Japonya'nın Kyushu Üniversitesi Asya ve Okyanus Çalışmaları Enstitüsü ev sahipliğinde eğitim alanındaki işbirliğimizi güçlendirmeyi amaçlayan bu etkinlikte yer almaktan mutluluk duyuyorum. Türkiye ve Japonya tarih boyunca aralarındaki coğrafi uzaklığa rağmen dostluk, yardımlaşma ve dayanışma temelinde şekillenmiş sağlam ilişkilerle birbirlerine bağlı olmuşlardır.
本日、九州大学アジアオセアニア、すみません、研究教育機構の主催により、教育分野における協力、強化を目的とした本イベントを出席できますことを大変光栄に思います。トルコと日本は地理的な距離を超えて長きにわたり友情、相互支援、連帯を基づく強固な関係を築いてまいりました。
Japonya ile diplomatik ilişkilerimiz 1924 senesinde başlamış olsa da dostluğumuz çok daha eskilere dayanmaktadır. Bu yıl ülkelerimiz arasındaki köklü dostluk bağlarının perçinlenmesine vesile olan Ertuğrul Fırkateyn kazasının 135. yıl dönümünü idrak etmekteyiz. Bu elim hadisenin 135 yıl dönümünde şehit denizcilerimizi huzurlarınızda bir kez daha rahmetle anıyoruz. Denizcilerimize fedakarca yardım eden Japon halkının iyiliklerini hiç unutmayacağız.
両国の外交関係は1924年に正式に樹立されましたが、両国の友好の歴史はそれ以前に遡ります。本年は両国の絆を象徴をエルトゥールール号遭難事件から135年を節目にあたります。この悲劇的な出来事の135周年にあたり、すみません、殉職された海軍兵士の方々に包んで哀悼の意を表します。また同時、献身的に救助活動を行ってくださった日本の方々の行為を私たちは決して忘れることはありません。
Malumunuz geçtiğimiz yıl diplomatik ilişkilerimizin tesisinin 100. yıl dönümünde karşılıklı olarak gerçekleştirdiğimiz birçok kültürel etkinlik ve ziyaret bizi daha da yakınlaştırarak ilişkilerimize ivme kazandırıyor. Bu vesileyle Aralık ayında Altes
Okay, today we have 7 presentations from 7 different backgrounds this fine. And the first session is about the law and medical science. So first I would like to introduce Dr. Oki Yutaro. He's associate professor at JMINA office and global strategy office of Kyushu University. And today he will give a talk entitled International Law Research in Japan and Turkey, Territorial and Maritime Issues. Please.
Thank you very much for your introduction. Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. Ben Yutaro Oki. Currently associate professor at the JMINA office and the manager of the JMINA. And so I will do the presentation about my work as a JMINA. In addition to that, I will touch some parts of my research because I think I'm the only one who is attending from the human science field or social science field. Most of them are from medical or let's say engineering field. So let me briefly introduce myself. I studied at first when I was the undergraduate student at Kyushu University in Egypt by using the Egyptian governmental scholarship to study Arabic language. Then after that I decided to focus in Kyushu University or generally in Japanese university, we start to choose a specific topic, usually third year or fourth year of the university. So in the third year, I choose the international law as my specialization. Then in the field of international law, I chose the history of international law. Then in my master and PhD, I'm doing the research relating to Islamic international law or the reception of international law in Egypt or Arabic countries. But of course, if you think about the 19th century of Egypt or Arabic countries, it's, as of course you know, that it's part of the Ottoman Empire. So we have to do some research about the Ottoman Empire or Turkey. So during my PhD, or since my PhD, I visited several times to Turkey. And the first one was 2014. And I met several professors of international law in Turkish university like Bilkent or Ankara or others. And the reason behind it is that I found one article in the American Journal of International Law which mentioned about the Turkish Society of International Law. It is said it created in 1974, but I couldn't find any homepage or any website. I couldn't find anyone who knows that kind of association. So I visited Turkey and I met them. I wanted to know what happened to that association. So, but unfortunately, no one knows that. 2014. So it's not existed anymore, I think. But anyway, that was the first visit of my Turkey. And after that, with some professors in Kyushu University, we have a good faculty of literature. And inside it, we have a department of Islamic civilization. And one professor of that faculty, called Professor Ogasawara, is one of the most famous historian of Ottoman or Turkish history in Japan. So he wrote several books. And one book we wrote together is about the creation and the transformation of nation in Republic of Türkiye. So I did some small research about the territorial settlement of parts in Turkey, and also Mosul dispute at the time, and Alexandretta or Hatay issues. So from the viewpoint of international law, I did several research about this, and by using the Dupitak and the JSPS bilateral seminar things, with other professors, what we did is the joint research of the territorial or maritime issue. So as you may know, Japan has now no ambassadors are here, so I can't easily say. We have a territorial issue like Senkaku or Takeshima or Northern Island, and you also have the territorial issue with the East Mediterranean Sea areas. So what we did is a kind of the comparison. So like a Cartagena issue or East Mediterranean natural gas development issues. But I will not talk about these topics, but I will talk a bit differently. But before going to that kind of presentation, I would like just to mention about the GMNA project, because I'm now doing the management of this project. So as actually both ambassador has mentioned, we, governmental, on the project of Ministry of Education of Japan, and the purpose is promotion of Japanese, or enhancing the educational or research level collaboration between Japanese university or Japanese educational institution and vice versa of the Turkish Republic. And of course, other Middle Eastern countries. And the one thing we'd like to mention is that we are working not only for Kyushu University, but for other universities. So if you are interested in making some kind of, let's say, research collaboration, or let's say if you want to do your PhD or master in some Japanese university, but you couldn't find a suitable professor for your interest in Kyushu University, maybe we can support you to find another destination. So. And as a part of the GMNA, we have Ankara office. Unfortunately, this month we will close, but we will keep working through online or through other ways. So, And another thing what we are doing is, of course, to make a strategy of to which level of the university we should promote, like not necessarily university, which level of study we should promote in Turkey or other country. So to do so, objectively, we collect the data necessary for strategy building, and this is a kind of just a sample of what we are doing. So Turkish student coming to Japan is increasing 29% since last year, between 2023 and 2024. And a bit more details of this thing is, as you can see, the graph on the left side, the Turkish student is coming to Japan is growing dramatically since this 3 or 4 years. And this data, this table doesn't show you clear reason or data behind it, but it is because of the effort of the Japanese language school. So nowadays, many Turkish students or Turkish person is coming to Japan at first to the Japanese language school, and that kind of trend is recruiting from. So from this angle, across the cooperation across the embassy and the universities in Turkey, and also the Turkish Japan Foundation, and all the alumni cooperation is very, very valuable. But in addition to that, like a Turkish private corporation, like today attending the summer, so their kind of cooperation or effort is also very important to think about joint increase of the Turkish student in Japanese educational institution. Usually in the presentation I do in Middle Eastern area is all about these kind of things. But today I will talk about my own research. So you can forget about the Japan now. So I will talk a bit about the international law or my own research. So so international law include the various areas like investment or environmental law or maybe trade law or that kind of things. And of course, territorial law is one of the issue. So you may wonder why history, but maybe surprisingly, since the beginning of 2000 something, the interest to the history of international law is increasing among international lawyer and also historian and for the people coming from other fields. But if I look at the Middle Eastern region or the history of international law relating to Middle Eastern region, there's a kind of clear lack of the empirical researches. So, just to show you clearly what the issue is. So, if you are familiar with Japanese history or Japanese modern development, you may have about the Bangkok Koho. It's from the most famous book in the end of 19th century in Japan. It was published several times in Japan. And that was the international law textbook. And original textbook was published in US the end of the 19th century. And this one, Elements of International Law by Henry Wheaton, is the original version of it. Then, after the publication of it, this man, William Martin, actually he is working as a, preacher in China. So with a cooperation of the governmental official of the Chinese government at that time, the Xin dynasty, and he translated part of this book into Chinese. And after the publication of this Chinese version, directly it came to Japan. So that many Japanese young generation read this book. But it was just a part of the whole book. So some Japanese started to collect the original book. And you may realize, if you're coming from the human science field, we usually care about the edition and who is the editor and which, that kind of thing. So this book has a lot of editions. So one used the first edition as a basis of the translation, and another one used the second version. And that kind of thing led the publication of various books of this single international textbooks. And one of the most popular one is the left side, so the Bangkok Koho kind of. So, but what I wanted to say is that and after this publication, this book is exported to China, and also it's entered to Korea, and later on to Thailand and Vietnam. So the circulation of the international law concept started by the translation of this book. And if you're familiar, or if you're Japanese, or if you're familiar with Japanese words, Bangkok Koho is not anymore used as a word referring international law. We use Kokusai Ho, so that word, that was kind of the million seller in the 19th century, but that word is not anymore in Japanese and in other countries. So why this kind of thing happen and how it happened is the one area of the research in the field of history of international in Japan. So my interest is based on this kind of researches or experience on the Japanese side or Asian side, what happened in the Ottoman side or the Arabic side. So these, it's not very clear, I think, but in 19th century, 10 books has been published in Cairo or Beirut, and the two centers of the publishing in the end of the 19th century. And these are lists. And the green one, I did a highlight for 4 books. Green one is actually the translation of the Ottoman version, or maybe Turkish version of the international textbooks into Arabic. So it's, we can see some kind of similarity of the experience. Japan imported the original textbook of Chinese to Japanese, and we started to do new things. And here, at least the 4 books came from Ottoman side to Egypt. Of course, Ottoman Egypt is legally part of Ottoman Empire at the end of 19th century, but it's quite an autonomy was there. So, and language is of course different. So it was not really clear the natural things. So the first example, it's one of the first textbooks written in Arabic language about international law. At the middle of it, actually it's published in Beirut, Kitab al-Hukuk al-Umam. And the original textbook of Ottoman language is the left side. So Kitab al-Hukuk al-Millet. So you may now realize the difference of the words used to express the word of the international law. So the left side in Ottoman textbook, it is called Hukuk al-Millet. But in Arabic language, they use not instead of millet, they use the word ummah. So this is the first thing happened. By the way, the first author of this Ottoman version was not the, let's say, Turkish people or the Turkish national, but anyway, the Ottokar Schlechter is an author, and he is the Australian, Australian, from Austria. Yeah, so he studied Arabic and the Turkish language in Vienna, then started to work for the Ottoman Empire. So he published this book and imported sent it to Beirut and Egypt. So the second example happened similarly is I think it was a bit more famous people among Turkish nationals. So the first author of the Turkish version, well, Ottoman version was Hasan Fethi Pasha. If you're familiar with the Abdul Muhammad's second era, he was the chairperson of the Congress of that age's Imperial Congress. So anyway, he wrote a textbook in Ottoman language. So the middle one is the first page of his book, Terhis-i Hukuk-u and it's translated in Egypt in 1894. It's titled Hukuk-u So that's similar wording is used. But interestingly enough, I didn't write anything here, but this book, otherwise Hassan Helmi is one of the famous and important governmental official at that period. This book was prohibited to publish because it contains some serious issue with regard to Greece at that time. So it was prohibited. But it translated into Arabic and it published in Cairo and it's saturated. And something is not a translation, but so it's Arabic text. So it's written كتاب الحقوق الملل ومعاهدة الدول. So it's one of the interesting things is this is not a translation, but the author has Ottoman origin. The author is Amin Arslan. Maybe you may, if you're familiar with the small. Anyway, he's coming from the one of the very famous family of the Druze. So the one, So of course, he is Muslim, but he's Druze. So as a member of the Druze, but as an Ottoman national, he worked as, for example, the first consul general of Ottoman Empire in France, like Bordeaux or Rousseau and Paris. And while he was in Argentina with Buenos Aires, he wrote this book and sent it to Cairo and published it. And in his book, many experience of the Ottoman Empire or Turkish term is included. Of course, he is coming from Druze family, so it means he's coming from like Lebanon or Syria in this period. So his original term is Arabic language, but of course he is using Ottoman language at the same time. So I just explained very briefly about only the title. Now, the title and a small background information of the all three or four initiative of the translation or writing of the international law. So what I can realize here is in the first book I mentioned, it was Hukukul Millet in Ottoman language. As an Ottoman original book, title is Hukukul Millet, and it translated into Arabic as Hukukul Umma. And the second book I mentioned is Hukukul Duel in Ottoman, but it's translated into Hukukul Duel. And the third one is written as Hukukul Millet. So even the title or even the term international law itself is translated or expressed in different ways. Of course, maybe you can guess, you can think about the reason behind it. Of course, this is the difference of the understanding of the term or concept of nation. So the 19th century is the age of the nation creating. So in Japan, we didn't have any words relating similar to nation. But in your country, you had a similar concept like millet, or maybe umma, or maybe dual could be different. But you had a similar word. So the kind of the revelation or the transformation of the understanding of the nation or understanding of international itself reflect in this title change. And of course, as you may know, all these words is not used anymore. Again, here in Turkey too. Now, I think in Turkish, always difficult to read it. It's common words for the international law in Turkish. And in Arabic also they are using kanun. So all these words are not, we cannot find anymore in the current textbooks. But what I wanted to say and what I'm doing is that this kind of experience is happened in Japanese side or in Asian side too. The kind of the effort to creating or effort to understanding a new concept and trying to carnage, maybe try to coin the new term or try to use the old term to express the new meaning. But that kind of effort is appeared in various ways. And this is just a history, so it's so what we, as a historian or historian of law, is we are trying to pick it up again and thinking about the meaning of it. So yeah, that's mainly my research. Thank you very much. And we are doing this with other professor of history of Turkish and Arabic. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Oki. So now we'd like to, because I think a lot of audience here is very interested in this presentation. So if you have any questions, please, maybe one or two small questions. We have the Q&A time. Yes. So, any people who have questions or comments, please.
I know most of you are from Azerbaijan.
It's okay? Oh, please.
Do you have any information or interest from Asian perspective and Ottoman perspective or the other related to conflict resolution? Like traditional. Because in the law, I mean, we have formal way to solve the conflict. Also, there is a more traditional way of solving the conflict resolution, like mediation, arbitration, like that kind of things. Do you have any interest or knowledge that you can share us with? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Usually in international law fields, as a methods of the conflict resolution, we usually say we have 7 types or 6 types, including the judiciary, like ICJ, or the arbitration, or mediation, or conciliation, and that kind of things. And it is usually said the Japanese government, or Japan, is hesitating to use the court as a place of the conflict resolution. So, because of that, we are trying to avoid the use of the court. So, this is a kind of a trend. But, considering the negotiation between Turkish Republic and Greece with regard to the immunoconduct issue or East Mediterranean Sea issues, Turkish government is more, let's say, active to try to use the court. So that could be the difference of our legal history or legal understanding or culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Oki. Thank you very much. Actually, next presentation actually will be given by Professor Chikui Toru from Faculty of Dental Science at Kyushu University. But unfortunately, before our departure, just 2 days ago, he was in emergency hospitalization. So now he's in the hospital. But even though he recorded a video for us in his first day of the hospitalization. So now I would like to play the video, and this is research from Professor Chikui Toru about the application of MRI to the maxillofacial region, morphological and functional imaging. Just a minute.
I'm pleased to have the opportunity to share my research with you. However, I'm very sorry, but I was hospitalized due to the sudden weakness, and I cannot attend this meeting. I am a staff member of the Faculty of Dental Science at Kyushu University. I worked as an oral radiologist. So, we use many modalities such as intraoral radiographs, panoramic radiographs, cone-beam CTs, computed tomographies, and MRIs. Today, I am going to talk about MRI. I this slide shows the characteristics of MRI. The high soft tissue contrast and various contrast advance of MRIs. However, the long addition times and many contradictions, such as pacemaker, spring, clips, cochlear implants, and so on, are disadvantages of MRIs. The failure region is difficult to image due to its complex anatomies, imperative movement, and the presence of the dental materials. So we need to diagnose small lesions, and sometimes the image quality is poor. So with the advance of MRI techniques, so there is many countermeasures. This slide shows the X-ray content application of MRI to the maxillofacial regions. First component is morphological imaging. It is very important for the accurate assessment of the extent of the regions. So it includes two topics: high resolution image and CT-like bone image. Second component is functional imaging. It includes two contents. The first is pharmacokinetic analysis of dynamic contrast enhanced MRI. The second is model analysis using diffusion weighted image. So functional imaging is very important for the clarification of the characteristics of the regions. This shows the fundamentals of MRI image contractions. So raw data is stored in K-space. So this data is converted to the image data by using the Fourier transformations. K-space is filled in models like this. It means the long action times. So in 2D acquisitions, data is acquired slice by slice. However, 3D acquisitions, volume data is acquired. Once obtains volume data, we can obtain much planar reformatted image like CT. In 3D acquisitions, the number of the encoding, number of the arrow increase. Therefore, this results in a much longer acquisition times. So the first imaging is mandatory, and the sampling is key to the reduction of the acquisition times. Complex sensing is currently in the spotlight. So this shows the concept of the complex sensing. The complex sensing is very difficult. However, it includes three important steps. First is random undersamplings. Second is space transformations. And third is iterative reconstructions. Undersampling data generates the noisy, artifact-free actual field image. However, by using the complex sensing, we can obtain the less noisy image, very beautiful image. This slide shows examples. So left side is the 2D acquisitions, and right side the 3D action plus complex sensing. So 2D acquisitions takes about 6 minutes. However, 3D acquisition takes only 100 seconds. So the stress thickness is only 1 millimeter. I think it is very beautiful image. we applied this technique for assessment of the extent of the manipulating bladder cancers. The background, MRI has sought to be overestimate the extent of the tumors. Low spatial resolution and permeation of the contrast agent from the vessel into the interstitial during the long action times result in the overestimations. Therefore, we predict high resolution and high speed imaging has the potential to overestimate this problem. Based on the actual image, we obtain the NPR images. In this case, there is no invasion into the cortical bones. So this is MRI image, and this is a CT image. Next is there is invasion of the cortical bones. However, there is no invasion of the mandibular canal. So mandibular canal is very important because it's the landmark for the parameter for the surgery. So the reconstructed image of the high resolution high speed image has the same accuracy as CTs. It potentially solves the problem of the overestimations associated with the conventional MRI. So compressed sensing is still being improved. In the conventional methods, sparse transformation is algorithm-based method. However, this part is replaced by the deep learning-based method. Left is the algorithm-based method, and right is the deep learning-based method. It is on less than 1 minute. So we can find the little noise in the algorithm-based methods. However, we can find almost no noise on the deep learning-based methods. So deep learning methods can produce the image with the less noise while saving times. High-speed, high-resolution image allows accurate assessment of the extent of the regions. To reduction of the action times, compressed sensing is important too. Combining compressed sense and deep learning enables much faster imaging. So I move to the next topic, CT light bone images. Generally speaking, MRI is excellent at soft tissues, but poor at the hard tissues. So we try to visualize the bone using the MRI. This sequence is very simple. So collect multiple echoes at in-phase timings, sum them up, and impart the bracket white. So it is very beautiful image, city-like bone image. So we apply these techniques for the evaluation of the temporal mandibular joints. We can find the anterior disc displacement. We can also evaluate the hard tissues. We can confirm the configuration of the cortical bones like this. Upper row is MRI image and bottom row is CT image. Although the CT image is superior to MRI in spatial resolution, however, MRI can also provide the image equivalent to CTs. So, fracture techniques may provide information comparative to CT assessment for the TMJs. I move to the second component, functional image. The first topic is pharmacokinetic analysis of dynamic contrast MRIs. So the MRI signal is affected by many parameters, but in this case, T1 is the key. T1 is the time constant of the reaction process approaching to the thermal equilibrium. DC MRI is a method in which a contrast agent is administered and images are taken to the continuous space. Critically, timing has commonly been used, especially in particular tumors. Gradual increased patterns suggest pulmonary adenomas, and rapid increase and rapid decrease patterns suggest large tumors, and rapid increase and flatter patterns suggest malignant tumors. So we aim to quantify DCMR to characterize regions. This slide shows the flowchart of DCMR analysis. So this is a dynamic data. We obtain the pre-contrast T maps by using the gradient echo sequence with multiple free bundles. Combine the pre-contrast T maps and dynamic data, we can obtain the temporal change in T maps. This data can be compared to the temporal change in the concentration of the contrast agent. The key is the conversion of the signal intensity into the concentration of the contrast agent. Once obtained these data, we can apply the pharmacokinetic analysis. So this slide shows the representative pharmacokinetic analysis. So Tofto and Kahamori models. The assumption is the equilibrium of the contrast agent between the plasma and the extravascular extracellular space. So based on these equations, we can obtain three independent parameters: K-trans, protein transfer coefficients from the plasma into the ES, VE fluxual volume of the ES, and VP fluxual volume of the plasma. So this is the present cases. 2DIC curve is almost similar. However, TT model analysis demonstrates the area with low VEs, which suggests high severity. Such findings suggest the maritime nature of this tumor. Biopsy proves this tumor is malignant tumor, adenocystic carcinoma. So I think these are very interesting cases. This slide shows the results for the differential diagnosis. Please note of the graph of VEs. So malignant glioma has the smallest VEs, followed by the squamous cell carcinomas, malignant salivary gland tumors, and pulmonary adenomas. So I think it's a very unique finding. We also apply the TT model analysis for the monitor of the therapeutic effect of the preoperative radiotherapy before radiotherapies and after radiotherapies. In respondents, we can find an increase of the K-trans and the increase of the VEs. However, such trends was not found in the non-respondents. In respondents, we can find the increase of K-trans and VEs. The increase of the VEs suggests the death of the tumor cells and the increase of the stromas. The increase of the K-trans suggests the increased blood flows, which means a good response to the radiotherapy due to the oxygen effect. We have shown that TT model analysis is effective for the differential diagnosis, monitoring of the tumor response to the radiotherapies, and the evaluation of the radiation injury to the parotid gland. I move to the next topics. Last topics: model analysis using the diffusion weighted image. The key is the diffusion. The diffusion weighted image is a method to visualize the moving of the water molecules. Apparent diffusion coefficients, ADC, could be obtained by the diffusion weighted image. So cell membrane and biological membrane hinder the movement of the water molecules. So in the easy to move. However, in the malignant tumors, water molecules are difficult to move. There is various model analysis using diffusion weighted image, which depend on the number of MPG axes and max MPG strengths. We perform many analyses. However, today I talked about the gamma distribution model, separation to the perfusion, intercellular diffusion, and extracellular diffusion. The assumption of the gamma distribution model is that the diffusion coefficients within the pixel follows a gamma distribution. Gamma distribution is a function which is determined only two parameters, kappa shape parameter and theta scale parameters. If so, the signal intensity of the diffusion weighted image follows the formula. So, if we obtain the diffusion weighted image with multiple p-values, we can determine the kappa and theta. Once the distribution kappa and theta is determined, it can be divided into the three components: F1, intercellular diffusion component, F2, extracellular diffusion component, and F3, a perfusion component. I applied the gamma distribution models for the clinical cases. Malignant lymphoma has the highest F1 intracellular diffusion component, which suggests a high severity. Pulmonary adenomas has a high F2 extracellular diffusion, which suggests rich stromas. So about the extracellular diffusion component F2, malignant lymphoma has the largest F1, followed by squamous cell carcinomas, malignant salivary gland tumors, premolecular adenomas, and vascular abnormalities. About the extracellular diffusion component, malignant lymphoma has the smallest F2s, and premolecular adenoma has the largest F2s. Although no contrast agent was used, this trend was similar to that of breeds obtained by taking model analysis of DC MRIs. I think it is very unique. Summaries. By classification into the three components, intercellular diffusion, extracellular diffusion, and perfusion, we are able to understand the characteristics of the tumors. So here's a list of our research. I have focused on the quantification of MRI image. I'm also trying the new contrast image. I will briefly explain our research. I would be happy to collaborate with Turkish research in the future. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry I could not be here in person today.
Okay, I heard actually, please.
はじめまして。私はオランダです。今、アンカラ大学の指導部の教授と、アンカラ大学のディーンです。トリチク先生と今、働いて、アンカラ大学と九州大学指導部で共同活動を持ち始まりました。これからも、続いてといきたいと思います。本当にありがとうございます。For the understanding, I'm just going to tell in English as well. My name is Kanuhan. I am the Dean of Faculty of Dentistry of Ankara University, as well as a Professor of Maxillofacial Radiology. And Professor Türkiye is my friend, and we just working together. We started to work together. Last year, I visited Kyushu University, Maxillofacial Radiology Department, and hopefully we will collaborate more and more with the Kyushu University in terms of radiology. And also, I am the Vice Rector of Ankara University. Please feel free to contact me in terms of any kind of research activities for Ankara University and Kyushu University. どうもありがとうございました。
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, so I heard that a lot of researchers about dentist science in Turkey studied in Japan. So that is why we really we invited Chikui Sensei at the first step of our organization. So he also really wanted to come here, but just 2 or 3 days ago, it's very suddenly. And I will pass your message to Professor Chikui, and hope we can have a further collaboration. Thank you very much. Okay, so next I would like to introduce the second presenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. Harvard. It's a great honor to be here today talk about radiation therapy. My name is Kazushi Atsumi, radiation oncology from Faculty of Medical Science and Kyushu University Hospital. Kyushu University Hospital is one leading affiliate medical and dental school hospital in Japan with nearly 3,000 staff. Dr. Chikui might be here today now. Our hospital accepts 2,000 patients per day on average, and has a hospital bed capacity that exceeds 1,400. Faculty of Medical Science and Kyushu University Hospital is in Maedashi Hospital campus, not in Itoshima, east side Fukuoka, very close to the airport. About 10 minutes by subway, but no direct flight from Taji to Fukuoka airport. Fukuoka is very famous for its beautiful night view. By chance, the same photo with Professor. Fukuoka is very famous for its we can eat delicious food, seafood, raw fish, chicken, roast chicken, noodle, and so on. I had Turkish food is very delicious, so I will enjoy Turkish food in this way. I stay. I like barak sabasando. I ate in Istanbul, that area, and Diva yesterday. Japan is full of nice places beyond Fukuoka. This is the Sakurajima volcano in Kagoshima in Kyushu Island. She is my daughter. In Kyushu southwest side Japan, and Nagasaki, Kanjima, and state locomotive. We can enjoy beautiful choruses in more south side. Anemone fish, Nemo very charming. It's me. You can see such a big mandalay with Endura. Otherwise, and we can enjoy ski or snowboard on beautiful mountain with powder snow in north side of Japan, Hokkaido, which very famous in the world. It's also me. It's also me. I often told too many hope. Back to main topic. In our radiation therapy department of our hospital, there are 7 radiation oncologists, only 1 female, and radiation oncologists from department health science. There are 3 billion for external beam radiation unit and 1 unit blood therapy internal radiation. Today I introduce a modern radiation therapy, how it works, how it has evolved, and where it is headed. We will start by understanding what is radiation therapy. and how it targets cancer precisely using high energy radiation. Then I show how technological innovation, especially in imaging and computer control, have changed treatment accuracy over the past decade. Next, we explore major technique in Kyushu. Cancer remains one of the most serious health challenges worldwide. Cancer treatment generally consisted of three major modalities: surgery, drug therapy, and radiation therapy. Radiation therapy occupies a unique space between these approaches. Like surgery, it is local treatment aimed at control or eliminate tumors. However, it does so without physical removing tissue, allowing important organs and structure to preserve. Radiation therapy is treatment that uses high energy radiation to destroy cancer cells. The radiation damages the DNA inside the tumor, prevents the cell from dividing and allowing the body to eliminate them. One of the key strengths of radiation therapy is its ability to deliver dose very precisely to the tumor while minimizing exposure to the surrounding normal tissue. When radiation enters the body, it creates tiny chemical reactions inside cells. These reactions break the DNA double strands of cancer cells, preventing them from dividing and growing. Radiation therapy works by damaging the DNA inside cells. All cells, including normal and cancer cells, try to repair this damage. However, cancer cells are usually abnormal and have weaker repair systems. This means they cannot fix the radiation-induced damage well. When cancer cells fail to repair their DNA, they stop growing or eventually die. This is the main reason radiation therapy can control tumors. Normal tissue around the tumor also receive some radiation, but they generally have much stronger repair ability. Because of nature difference, radiation therapy can reduce the tumor while tumor. The evolution radiation therapy technology history are increasing precision. Our system could only deliver uniform radiation from one direction. Now we can shape radiation beam on 3D, rotate them dynamically, and guide them using real-time methods. Each advanced 3D conformal therapy, IMRT, BMAP, SRT, was driven by the goal to focus more than on the tumor and less on normal tissue. This progress has improved both cancer control and quality of life. We naturally treat tumors that were once considered untreatable with millimeter level accuracy and for fewer side effects. At the heart of modern radiation therapy is a machine called the linear accelerator or LINAC. It generates high energy X-rays or electrons that can penetrate deep into the body. A rotating boundary allows beam to come from many directions, converging on the tumor. This design helps concentrate the dose inside the tumor while minimizing exposure to healthy tissue. A true engineering marvel. Intensity modulated therapy, IMRT, is a technique in which the radiation beam dividing into many small segments, each with different intensity. This allows us to sculpt the dose so it fits the tumor shape very precisely, even when the tumor is close to important organ. As a result, we can increase the dose to cancer while reducing side effects. IMRT is standard care for many head and neck cancer. In this region, tumors often lie close to critical organs such as cerebral glands, spinal cord, and oral cavity. With older technique, it was difficult to avoid these organs, leading to strong side effects like dry mouth or difficulty swallowing. IMRT will allow us to precisely shape the radiation dose to fit the tumor's 3D form, while minimizing exposure to normal tissue. BMAT derived radiation continuously as a machine rotated around the patient, so-called rotational IMRT. During rotation, shape, intensity of beam, adjust real-time this allows us to create high pressure dose distribution, while significantly reducing total treatment. Next, stereotactic radiotherapy or SRT can be delivered precise to a small target, while sparing healthy tissue by using advanced imaging and a coordinate system. SRT was originally developed for the treatment of brain tumor. This remarkable precision led to excellent local tumor control and minimal side effects, and as technology improved, we realized that same concept could be applied on outside the brain. Today, SRT was used not only for brain tumors, but also for small tumors in lung, liver, spine, prostate, pancreas, and even abdominal gland, and so on. SRT support evolved from a neurosurgical radiation technique into a versatile non-surgical option for many different cancers. It allowed us to deliver therapeutic dose of radiation safety and precisely improving both tumor control and patient quality of life. This case shows 3 cm lung cancer treated with SRT 4 sessions. As you can see, after 20 months, the tumor had almost completely disappeared. Image-guided radiation therapy, or IGRT, is a technique where we take image right before or maybe even during the radiation treatment. Tumor can move slightly due to grazing or natural shift in the body. IGRT allows us to confirm the tumor's position each day, so we can adjust radiation beam with high accuracy. This reduces unnecessary radiation to normal tissue and increases the safety and precision of the treatment. Motion management is essential when treating tumors in the chest and abdomen, because these two tumors move significantly with breathing. Respiratory getting triggered radiation only during a stable phase of the breathing cycle, which helps reduce margin while keeping high precision. Real-time tumor tracking continuous monitors the tumor position and adjusts the beam accordingly, allowing us to treatment tumors that move unpredictably. By approaching this technique, we can minimize motion-related dose error and improve both accuracy and safety, especially in high-precision treatments such as SRT and particle therapy. Blood therapy, so-called internal radiation therapy, is a method where a small radioactive source placed directly inside a very closely tumor. Because the radiation emits from the flow within the body, the tumor receives a very high dose while the surrounding healthy tissue receives very little. The sharp dose fall-off is one of the biggest advantages of blood therapy. It is commonly used for cervical cancer, prostate cancer, and other local tumors. Radiotherapy for uterine cancer is a highly effective and localized form of radiation therapy. It begins with the placement of the special device called applicator inside uterus and vagina. The applicator defines the shape position of the treatment area. After accurate placement is confirmed by CT or MRT, a tiny radioactive source is inserted into the body, into the applicator through a remote after-rolling system. This allows radiation to be delivered precisely to the tumor area, while minimizing exposure to surrounding organs such as the bladder and rectum. As explained so far, conventional radiation therapy includes photon beam therapy using X-ray for external beam therapy or gamma rays for blood therapy, which is current main treatment. Patch therapy is a new type radiation therapy using heavy ion particle or proton therapy. Heavy ion cancer treatment cutting-edge technique involves the irradiation of cancer lesion using focused beam of carbon ion duration to approximately 70% of the speed of light. In conventional X-ray radiotherapy, the radiation dose decreases as the depth of penetration in the body increases. In radiotherapy, however, the radiation dose increases with the depth to produce a peak, which is black peak, infinite depth of the body, enable selective irradiation of cancers. Now, there are 7 facilities of carbon neutrality in Japan. I talk about our partnership particle therapy hospital, Saga Heavy Ion Medical Accelerator ITOS, called Saga Haiman. Saga is next prefecture to Fukuoka. I will take about 50 minutes by Shinkansen 9 high-speed train. This is Saga Haiman. Saga Haiman has been operated since 2013 and has treated about 6,000 patients so far. Approximately half of the area is building occupied by equipment. In particular, a saturated accelerator called synchrotron that measures 20 meters in diameter. The carbon ion derived from mechanical methane gas in an apparatus known as an ion source. These carbon ion first accelerated approximately 9% of the speed of light into linear accelerator. Next, the synchrotron used accelerated then 70% of the speed of light. The level of energy required for treatment. The ion beam can be sent with treatment room. 1, 2, 3 treatment room. And irradiated cancer lesion in patient. Carbon ion therapy is a type of particle therapy that uses carbon ions which are heavier than proton. Because of their heavy mass, carbon ion cause more biological damage to cancer cells. This makes the treatment effective for tumors that do not respond well to standard radiotherapy like X-ray. At the same time, the dose distribution is very precise, allowing protect of healthy tissue. This is a patient with mucosal melanoma of right maxillary sinus, treated with carbon ion. As you can see, carbon ion is very effective mucosal melanoma. These tumors can be a good indication for carbon ion therapy. Most are localized, including radioresistant tumors. And common cancers are also treated safer and shorter treatment period comparing to photon radiotherapy. Finally, I'll talk about adaptive radiotherapy, ART. ART means that the treatment plan is not fixed at the beginning, but can change as the patient anatomy or tumor size change during treatment. We use daily imaging to detect these changes and re-optimize the plan to keep the dose accurate and safe. This approach allows us to tailor therapy to each patient's condition day by day. A major step toward truly personalized treatment. Online ART allows to adjust treatment plan instantly based on patient's condition each day. Online ART systems like ESOS and MR Linear make this possible by combining imaging computation and automation. The ESOS platform in Kyushu University Hospital can use delivery a daily CT image and artificial intelligence to re-optimize the plan while the patient on the table. Similarly, MR Linear integrates on an MRI with a linear accelerator, enabling a real-time visualization of soft tissue even during beam delivery. With these technologies, we can follow the tumor's movement and organ changes in real time, delivering radiation more accurately and safely. It is a major step towards truly personalized and intelligent radiotherapy. In summary, radiation therapy uses high-energy beams to precisely destroy cancer cells while protecting normal tissue. Over the years, advances in imaging and computing have dynamically improved both accuracy and safety. Modern techniques such as IMRT, SRT, drug therapy, PAT therapy allow us to deliver radiation exactly where it is needed treating the tumor effectively, while sparing the nearby organs. Now, with adapt and real-time system, radiation therapy is becoming even more personalized. It can respond instantly to each patient's anatomy and daily change, bringing us closer to truly intelligent patient-centered cancer care. This is all for my presentation. If you are interested in our University of Japan, please come. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Atsumi. So, any comments or questions to this? I think it's a very impressive talk. Any questions? Okay. Okay, so of course now we will have a coffee break. So if you have any questions, please directly ask the professors who give presentations. Okay, so from now we will have our coffee break, like 40 minutes. So let's come back to this venue 4:15. Okay. Okay, welcome back. We will start our second session. So the second session entitled is engineering and innovation. So in this session, most of the presentations is about engineering, and actually our university has a very good tradition and very strong research in the field of engineering. So today, the first presentation from engineering field is given by Professor Nishihara Masamichi. He's from International Research Center for Hydrogen Energy, Kyushu University. And today he will give a speech about challenging of Kyushu University in realizing a hydrogen energy society, from research to reality. So please.
Thank you very much, Sensei. Okay, hello everyone. So I'm Nishihara, professor of International Research Center for Hydrogen Energy. Okay, today, I talk about the hydrogen energy. Probably you might know you might listen what the hydrogen energy. So today I talk about what is the hydrogen energy and merit and demerit. Then I will explain about some application, and last part, I will explain about my current research topics. And today I talk about the energy issue, energy topics, but my background itself is polymer chemist. I'm pure chemist. So that's why if you want, actually, I also have some chemistry slide. Today I don't introduce, but so if you want, actually, we can discuss later. Okay. So hydrogen energy is focused on next generation energy source. Next generation energy source means that we have some issue on current energy. So I just briefly explain about current energy situation. So most of the country use fossil fuel to generate the electricity or to drive the cars. Currently, we don't have any problem with the energy. Probably you can access oil, you can easily use electricity without any problems. But we have several potential problems. Actually, if you burn the fossil fuel, of course, we emit carbon dioxide. Yes, actually you know well. Then, so the country carbon dioxide emission is much larger than absorption by plant. That's why, yes, global warming happened. And the other issue is, of course, actually, fossil fuel sooner or later will be gone. So this is also a problem. So that's why, so we have to change our society with carbon dioxide emission to without carbon dioxide emission. So that's why we have to utilize the non-carbon dioxide emission energy sources like renewable energy. Then, so yesterday I checked the Turkish power configuration in 2024 from website. So in Turkey, actually 54% of the energy coming from fossil fuel, which means fire power plant or the cars. The good point in Turkish situation is hydro power plant is large, 21%. This is amazingly large. Plus, you can use the wind turbine and the solar. So that's why Turkish energy situation is quite nice compared to the countries. So, but actually still, you are using 54% the electricity coming from 54% electricity coming from fossil fuel. So you have to reduce that number. So in this case, many people think, okay, so we can increase the number of the solar or wind, but this technology also has a problem. One simple problem is the instability. Okay, so I'm sorry, this is the Japanese website. But important point is actually this is the Kyushu areas, the power generation. In the daytime and the sunny day, in the Kyushu area, 67% of the electricity coming from photovoltaics, solar. 67. It's quite large. But in the cloudy day, the photovoltaics power generation goes down to the 12, very less. So that unstable, the electricity is not nice for especially industrial sector. No one wants to use such unstable electricity because yes, today is sunny day, you should work, but cloudy day or rainy day, okay, you can day off. Actually, this is not nice for business. So that's why renewable energy is hard to use, especially industrial sector. And so renewable energy, many people believe renewable energy equally distributed in the world. Yes, compared to the fossil fuel, yes, true. But not equally distributed. So this is the potential, the photovoltaic potential. Red part is high potential, and blue one is the lower. In the Turkey, actually I don't know the exact weather in Turkey, but southern part of the Turkey has higher potential than northern part. Even the same country, so potential of the photovoltaics are different. So that's why, so how to utilize such unstable and localized energy? Simple answer is store the excess renewable energy. So how to store the renewable energy? So hydrogen is focused as the energy carrier. So this is one of the ideal schematic image. Ideal. For example, actually you learned this reaction. If water electrolyzer reaction in the high school or junior high school, if you charge the electricity to the water, you can generate hydrogen and generate water, the oxygen. So by using this one with renewable energy, you can get hydrogen as an energy storage material. Then generated hydrogen stored in the tank, then you can use the hydrogen in the night or, for example, cloudy day by using this device. This device is fuel cell. What is a fuel cell? Fuel cell is the used reverse reaction of the water electrolysis reaction. Water electrolysis reaction is water to the hydrogen, but fuel cell reaction case, if we use hydrogen and oxygen in the air, we can generate electricity and water without any carbon dioxide emission. That's why if we can use this circle effectively, so we can generate energy source from renewable energy with water, and we can generate electricity without carbon dioxide emission. So that's why, so this hydrogen energy technology is focused to accelerate the decarbonization. Then one of the good points of the hydrogen is here. You know, hydrogen is flammable gas. So that's why you can burn hydrogen to get heat. That's why, so you are using the boiler to get the hot water. If you fill hydrogen instead of the, for example, gas, carbon dioxide emission reduces. So that's why you can burn hydrogen to get heat. Then I'm a chemist. So for chemists, hydrogen is good, important starting material for the reactions. So that's why hydrogen is used for the electricity generation, heat generation, and starting material of chemical reactions. Okay, I just said the ideal image, just good point. But also hydrogen has a bad point. Then this is a comparison between advantage and disadvantage. Okay, so we can generate hydrogen from not only water, but also the sludge and fossil fuel. If material has hydrogen, we can extract hydrogen. Then, you can, so if you can utilize this the system, you can make your own energy in your country, for example. Because renewable energy basically made in your hometown or your house. Then excess amount of the energy used for the hydrogen production, then utilize that hydrogen in your house. You don't need to buy fossil fuel. So in this case, hydrogen is independent from oil price. This is one of the good points. And of course, no carbon dioxide emission. Bad point, practical bad point is cost. Actually, it's very expensive. I didn't explain about the precisely, but water electrolyzer fuel cell need the expensive metals, for example, platinum and iridium. So that's why it's it's very expensive. Plus, this part is very important. To generate hydrogen, you potentially emit carbon dioxide. This is the problem. What is this problem? Okay, and if you generate hydrogen by water electrolyzer, yes, actually you can connect the reaction device to the energy output, then you can generate hydrogen. Yes, actually you feel, yes, you can generate hydrogen, it's green energy. But where that electricity comes from? Yes, actually in Turkey, 54% of the electricity coming from fire power plant. So it means that electricity includes carbon dioxide emission. So that's why generated hydrogen is not purely the ecological. This is the current problem. Then so sometimes we discuss about this parameter, carbon dioxide emission intensity. What is this? This is the definition is to make 1 kilogram of hydrogen, how much carbon dioxide emit? For example, if you use methane gas to generate the hydrogen, you emit 10 to 14 kilograms of carbon dioxide. Again, 1 kilogram hydrogen production, you emit 10 to 14 kilograms of carbon dioxide, much larger than hydrogen. Current situation is this. This is not nice. That's why we have to reduce the number of the carbon dioxide emission to zero using renewable energy. This is the current target to generate the hydrogen. Then finally, actually, if we can get clean hydrogen, we have to utilize that hydrogen for the several sectors. And actually, I just explained about that part. If we want to reduce the carbon dioxide emission, one of the technology is this one. Capture the carbon dioxide and store in the ground, like this. Yes. Actually, the generated carbon dioxide separate and collect, then go down to the ground, then stored. In this case, carbon dioxide emission is zero. Actually, this technology, sometimes we say CCS or CCUS. We can also access this kind of technology currently. Okay. Again, so if we get this kind of the clean energy, so we have to utilize this hydrogen effectively each sectors. Today I talked about transport sectors work. Okay, so to reduce carbon dioxide emission in the transport sector, so automotive company have to introduce the electric vehicles. The fuel cell vehicle I explain later is one of the electric vehicles. So you can get this kind of the fuel cell vehicle commercially. And so I explain about fuel cell vehicle bit. Fuel cell vehicles, the fuel is hydrogen, compressed hydrogen in the tank. Then hydrogen go to the fuel cell. Then in the fuel cell, the electricity generated. Then motor drive. So that's why this is one of the electric vehicle. So fuel cell vehicle is electric vehicle, so that's why there's no carbon dioxide emission during the driving. Yes, of course, the fuel cell vehicle has a merit and demerit. Merit is no carbon dioxide emission and high efficiency and less noise. Actually, it's very, very quiet. Then refueling time of the hydrogen is very quick. If you want to refill the hydrogen fully, just 3 minutes. It's very fast. Then disadvantage, yes, the no carbon dioxide emission. This is a question because, as I told you, currently the used hydrogen include carbon dioxide emission. That's why there's not purely the clean hydrogen yet. And the cost. Actually, I checked the Türkiye today. The second generation Mirai, this one, cost is the 1.9 million Türkiye. Actually, expensive, but possible to buy. And the hydrogen cost, this cost in Japan, not Turkey, sorry. The roughly 1 kilogram is the 400 Türkiye. Then Mirai, the fuel cell vehicle, second generation Mirai, can load 5 kilograms of hydrogen. So that's why cost is roughly 2,000 Türkiye. Then driving range is 60 kilometers. I'm not sure this is the reasonable or not, but hydrogen cost will be reduced by mass production. So that's why, so in this case, probably it will be nice to buy it. And the another point is hydrogen station. I'm sorry, I couldn't check how many hydrogen stations in Turkey, but it's expensive. The one station, 27 million Türkiye. So that's why, so we need large investment. So this is the demo. And many people tell us, finally, which will win, fuel cell vehicle or electric vehicle? The answer is here. Electric vehicle suitable for short range drive and small car and light duty vehicle. On the other hand, fuel cell vehicle is suitable for long distance the work and large truck or bus and heavy duty purpose. So some people are disappointed. I want to invest EV or I want to invest LCV, but answer is both. But actually, the strategy, actually most of the automotive company think this is the future answer. Okay, the last few minutes, actually, I talk about my current work. Here, I talk about the fuel cell vehicle is suitable for heavy-duty vehicles like bus and trucks. Compared to the passenger vehicle, heavy-duty vehicle need long lifetime or high power generation. So actually, the passenger fuel cell vehicle already has very high performance, high durability. But to apply heavy-duty vehicle, we need much more. So that's why we have to think about completely new idea to develop the materials. Yeah. For example, I'm a polymer chemist. That's why I focus on the polymeric material in the fuel cell system. In the fuel cell system, polymeric material used in the membrane part between the two catalyst layer, and we call ion in the catalyst layers. So our team try to develop completely new material to realize this difficult target. And for durability part, sorry. Why actually we need higher durability? Because actually we need durability means that currently we have some problem with the membrane. So membrane decompose during the fuel cell operation. Mechanism is the proposed mechanism is this: hydrogen and oxygen react each other, but not generate water. Hydrogen peroxide generate H2O2. After that H2O2 split to the OH radical. Sometimes react with the oxygen species with the radical oxygen in the reactive oxygen species. That one attack to the membrane, then decompose. So many people try to develop very stable material against that radical attack. But currently, it's already achieved the theoretical limitation to molecular design. So that's why this approach is very, very difficult to get new materials. That's why we thought, okay, why? So this hydrogen peroxide generator. The mechanism is very simple. That oxygen, small amount of oxygen penetrates through this membrane, then react to the another side. So in this case, side reaction occurred. Then that side reaction, in that reaction, so hydrogen peroxide generated. Again, oxygen, the small amount of the oxygen penetrates through the membrane, then hydrogen peroxide generated. If this is true, if we can stop oxygen penetration, yes, actually, hydrogen peroxide generation would be stopped. So idea is very simple. Then, so we added the gas barrier polymer inside the membrane. Then, so we prepared that membrane to confirm our hypothesis. The answer is yes, actually, gas barrier, the material, improved chemical durability inside the fuel cell. Actually, we are using very, very simple chemical materials, the general purpose polymers. That general purpose polymer shows higher chemical durability than standard materials. This is the first example in this field. That's why now we start to collaborate with several companies. And so before submit the paper, we already filed the patent here. And the another part, actually catalyst part. So on the catalyst, the electrolyte material is slightly coated on the catalyst. Coating means that actually oxygen penetration suppressed, then fuel cell performance, catalyst performance drop. So in this case, okay, so we mix high permeable material in this catalyst layer, like sponge. So in this case, oxygen and hydrogen pass through that sponge part, then reaction should work more. Yes, actually, we checked this hypothesis, then we could confirm this hypothesis is true. Our brand ionomer shows better performance than standard materials. Yes. Okay, so this part skipped. Okay, briefly. Yes, actually, both systems are very, very simple. And so, very simple means that actually, company people try to use this one. So we started the collaboration work with the especially automotive company and chemical companies. Okay, lastly, and this is the activity in the Kyushu University of the hydrogen energy. From 2003, the organized hydrogen energy project started. Then now we have several research centers and total more than 200 researchers, students and faculty working on the hydrogen energy for the several research fields. It's quite energetic and one of the biggest hydrogen energy research center in the world. In the last slide. And in our group, actually, our group is quite international. All students are the international students, actually. Then we have the several Turkish students and researchers. And now the Kutan, actually he's working in the lab from October. He graduated Gazi University this year. And Mustafa and Fatima work in the collaboration work with UK and NS here. And NS is also working with me, and now we are working the international cooperation work. And Elf, actually, he planned to come to the Kyushu University next year. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Nishihara. So any questions or comments to him? welcome all kind of questions. So actually, this is a very strong point of our university. So, please. It's okay. All right. Thank you very much, Professor Nisham. Next, I would like to introduce another professor from our university, Faculty of Human Environment Studies, Professor Suehiro Kaoru. And he will give a talk entitled The Situation of Temporary Housing and Gathering Place After Disaster, Türkiye and Japan.
Okay, I start the presentation. Thank you for introduction. I am actually an architect, usually designing buildings, but in the university, I was somehow involved in the post-disaster kind of housing and things. So I want to talk about that today. And first, I'd like to talk about Japanese case. And the topic is home for all, which is gathering place, and kase is student activity. As other professors are showing, Japan is like this, and Fukuoka is west side of Japan, and I will talk about Kumamoto and Sendai and Noto, where they had big earthquakes. And this slide is taken after the earthquakes in 2011. But at the time, this East Japan earthquake, tsunami was the most effective, really influential effect. And then this picture is showing tsunami, water came up to something like 12 meter high, and it washed out everything, from the ground. And then after this earthquake, Japanese government prepared, built a lot of temporary housing, which is made with a steel structure, steel kind of prefabricated structure. And of course, at the time, the most important thing was to make a lot of housing as soon as possible. But as you can guess, the living condition there is pretty sad. And then after this construction, one architect, world famous architect, Toyo initiated to give a small gathering place to the people who live in temporary housing. Then I had a relationship with him, so I was asked to help him to design a small place. And this is the picture when we brought a model to the people who were living there. And this time, we went there and then explained our idea to give them a gathering place with timber structure, look like a small house. But at the time, of course, they were really suffered, and many of the residents lost their relatives or families, and then they lost their houses, so they looked so sad. But then, okay, we started to the construction. This is the groundbreaking ceremony, and then carpenter go there and then started to build up the frame. As you may know, in Japan we have a very long tradition of timber architecture, and we made this kind of very simple timber structure. And this picture is showing a rice cake toss ceremony. When we build a building, then if the frame is done, then we celebrate this building construction with rice cake throwing. And then at the time, the people who live there, most of them are elderly people. So these old, ladies and old men are really getting these rice cakes. But of course, they have very bended backs, so it's very easy for them to get the rice field on the ground. And then at the time, so many people, I mean architects and builders and other factories people helped this project. I mean just for a very small project, just 36 square meter timber gathering place was built by so many people. Supported. And then finally the building was built. It's done. And Territorial, the second guy from the left, and then right hand side is residents. Of the place. So finally we did drinking party, and then after that the people used this place for a long period. At the end, something like 4 years or 5 years, the building was standing there, and then they moved it to the place where they moved to build a new house. So it happened in 2011. Then after that, 5 years later, we had a big earthquake again in Kumamoto, where it's pretty near to Fukuoka. This slide is showing the huge landslide, and it's broken the big bridge. And of course, many houses were collapsed. And this is a typical collapsed timber houses. And then local prefecture government decided to build temporary housing. It was like 4,000 units. And then they knew that timber, if they can build a temporary housing, it's better for the people, because people are generally used to living in timber houses, so they are familiar with that. So the local government tried to prepare as much as possible, temporary housing, like 600 timber temporary housing, out of 4,000 units of steel structure temporary housing. But anyway, in total, 110 temporary housing sites was prepared, and 95 timber home for all. We experienced this home for all project in Higashi Nihon, East Japan earthquakes. So local government decided to do the similar things for this case. And then also we asked to the temporary housing company to prepare the condition much better than before. But anyway, finally they built this kind of steel or prefabricated temporary housing. But the people started to live there and putting something in front of the front door and things. But inside of this temporary housing is like this. So it's really the same as the usual Japanese houses nowadays. But as I explained, Kumamoto Prefecture decided to provide timber temporary housing also. For this temporary housing, they started to do the construction on the concrete foundation. This steel prefabricated temporary housing is situated on the timber piles, which is for temporary use. So after 5 years, the piles will be damaged. So anyway, they have to remove the whole structure. But for the timber temporary housing, they decided to make a rather permanent type, foundation. Then on top of that foundation, they built this timber temporary housing. But actually, it is originally thought out to be used in the future for permanent houses. So this was done. And then at the same time, the government asked us to make a really simple plan for gathering place and home for all. So they provided something like 76 units in total, like this. And we started to draw after the disaster, started make drawings, and then they built this. And it was done. I mean, this is supported by the government, and budget is coming from the central government. And then prefectural government and local government decided to do this. So this is the picture of interior. I mean, to have such kind of community space, many volunteer people come there and they're having an event and things, and then supporting the people's life. So it happens, you know. And then I'd like to talk about other activity, which is organized by architecture students in the University of Kyushu Island. I mean, it's called KYUDAI. KYUDAI is Kyushu Architecture Student Supporters for Environmental Improvement. I mean, but KYUDAI means, in Japanese, I mean, it's like helping people. But for this KYUDAI project, we decided to do two main directions. One is to make furniture or greeneries and such kind of things together with the residents. I mean, making something. You know, making something is, of course, helping people, but also at the same time we are thinking about to organize some kind of event, like a festival, a local festival, or some kind of ceremony or whatever, so to help the people's community. So these two things are very important, we thought. So at first, after the disaster, we went to the this temporary housing site, and then one architect came there and presenting the idea of the design of this gathering place, I mean, home for all. And then at this moment, many people gathered. But for the temporary housing, I mean, when the temporary housing is ready, people gather and people come to live there. But people are coming from many different places, so at first they don't know each other. They don't know who is living at the next door. But when we went there, so many people has to somehow come there. And then they started to make their own kind of new community after this event. So the architect explained their idea, and the people are talking about what kind of design we should use, we should make, and such kind of discussion happens. And then students are explaining about their ideas. Then the construction started as before. This picture is showing the framework was done. And then at the time, this time they organized, I mean, these local people organized rice cake making kind of party. So students are making rice cake, but I mean, they don't have any experience, and then elderly people have much more experience. So the students were taught by them. And then also we made a kind of counter to put the flowers and maybe vegetables and such kind of thing. And then many ladies started to help. So finally, it's done. So at the end of this project, resident looks pretty happy. And then this concept project is organized by many universities and students and professors. So in each site, many students have the activities. So this is another site. And sometimes students are helping kids to make models and things, and it's like education program. So we have been working at the Kasei, and then we learned many things by our activities. So what we learned is one important thing is making objects. I mean, we have been making objects, furniture and things, and then people started to help the students and to make things. I mean, to make building and to make furniture, whatever. Making objects. I mean, this activity itself makes people happy. We really think by the instinct of human beings. I mean, people like to make something, and people feel happy about it. And then the other thing is, talking with others makes people happy also. It's quite normal, I think. And especially in Japan, in the countryside where this kind of aspects happen, the most of the residents are elderly. I mean, okay, and there are some younger generation, but most of the people are elderly. And then, even when they are living like usual way, I mean, before the earthquake, they are somehow living alone. So when we went there and then asking them and how is the living condition here, then they said they are really happy because they are living together with other people, closely. And then if young students go there and doing something together with them, then they are really happy with talking with the younger generation. So this is a very important issue, I think. And then the meaning of Kasei is, I mean, these student activities can initiate the communication of residents, I think. And the knowledge and the skill of active students can support residents by means of objects and occasions. The activity itself is an incomparable education for students. And of course, design is important, has an ability to unite people. And this kind of experience and knowledge will be useful for the future disaster site, we thought. Okay, then in Kumamoto, this place, government started to build this kind of permanent housing with timber structure. And it has a very nice atmosphere, nice condition of living, and like this. So it is well welcomed by the people. Okay, then after some years, I mean, this is the picture taken last year. We had again in 2024, we had a really big earthquake in Noto area. It's Japan seaside, a bit north of Japan. And this was after something like 5 months of the disaster, but still, these houses were broken, and then this big, building was fallen down, and they had a really bad fire. And then again, the government started to build temporary housing. But in this case, of course, they built this steel-made temporary housing, but also Kumamoto Prefecture people went there to help to build their timber temporary housing. So the knowledge is somehow used for the next time. And also, this GAPPA is a similar activity in Noto case after Kasei. So Kasei, Uri went there to teach how to organize this architecture student activity and what kind of thing we can do. And they learned from our activity, and then they started their own project. Okay, then I think I'd like to talk about the Türkiye case. Of course, you will know, you had very big earthquakes near Kahramanmaraş and other places, Hatay and such kind of places. It's really heavy, of course. And then we went there to Kahramanmaraş city because one of our students is coming from this area, so we decided to do something there. So these are the pictures. after the disaster. I must say, the situation is much worse than Japanese case. I mean, buildings will completely collapsed. And this picture is before the earthquake of the center of Ankara city. But after the earthquake, the center part was completely gone. But amazing thing about the Turkey, I mean, they already started to build permanent buildings after 3 years of this, 2.5 years of this big, disaster. So I think, Turkey, your government somehow moved very quick. It's quite amazing. Then we visited one temporary housing site, and then they provided the container type ready-made units, very small units. So I think the living condition there is not so nice, but it's quick anyway. The building, production is pretty quick. But the scale is much bigger. I think so many people were suffered compared to Kumamoto and the Higashino case. So they built so many places like this, so lots of temporary housings. And then we decided to make a similar project as Home for All in Japan, in Kumamoto, this is a picture where we decided to build that small building next to the school, temporary school. And then student, she will talk about this, but anyway, this is done by her. They made a design and a picture, and we started to gather the donation and started with crowdfunding, and we got some money. And then made the drawings like this, and made a model to check the structure and construction. And we tried to make a mock-up, in the university. How does it work, and is it possible to build, and such kind of thing. So this is the mock-up making the Kyushu University. And then we moved to Turkey. And I think I'd like to talk about the project, and after this. Okay.
Of course.
Hello everyone, I'm Ayşe Dağlı. I'm a PhD candidate in Professor Seyhiro's laboratory. And this project was my master project, and I was responsible from design to networking in Turkey, and also the mock-up process and everything related to the project. And firstly, we went with a small team from Kyushu University, and we had 2 more the volunteer students who work in our project from different universities from France and Turkey. And we have collaborated with AFAD, Disaster and Emergency Management in Turkey, and local university, the Istiklal University. Actually, the project area was owned by this Istiklal University, and it was given to AFAD to build a continuously for a while. So the area was really nice, full of trees compared to other places. And life there was actually a bit more different than Japanese situation, because the houses are really cramped. It's really small. 21 square meter is provided for 4 people family, and even 5 and 6 in some cases. So people spend most of their time outside to gather and enjoy time together. However, they are not provided anything like a community space to do events or spend time together. So we went to build something for them, and we started on May 13th, 2023 with material selection. We bought the local timber and cement, etc. And the site preparation has started with the help of Istiklal University. After that, we started building up the foundations. And also the timber situation was different than Japanese, because in Japan the timber is very common and you can find in several sizes, but in Turkey we needed to order and it was not right. so it was also not planed, it wasn't clean, so we needed to clean the timber and make it dry for some time. And we started by that and then started to prepare the four frames of our structure. After the four frames were finished, we started to anchor them into the foundation from the beams, and we connected them with sills and beams. And this is the end of the structural, in the middle of the structural process. And also we made many friends there, since most people are not familiar with Japanese. Our Japanese students were quite popular among them, and I think we also brought like fun to them. We were always hanging out with kids. We also did presentation to kids about working and the situation and how should they act in these kind of situations. And so we also received many help from the locals there. So this is also one of Kasya''s philosophy that we were inspired. We wanted to include the local people to the production of this place, and they always helped us, like by feeding us, providing us food and electricity, and sometimes helping after they work at night. And even kids were helping us there. And this is one of the visual during the project. It was about to finish, and this is horigotatsu, a Japanese law table. And we were sitting here eating some snacks and continue to working with locals and our local carpenters and our students from Japan. And this was the end of the project. And this is the interior. We wanted to provide a wide, cozy wooden place for the people here, because the house they live in are metal, and we heard like they were kind of sick of living in these metal houses, so they wanted a wider space to get together. And we give the building responsibility to AFAD, the local AFAD containers management, for them to give to the school nearby. So the place was used by kids after classes and time to time by adults. And so I visited also Kahramanmaraş city this summer, and I saw the post-disaster housing situation is still, they still build them, but many of them were completed, and basic plans are provided for people. So these plans are provided for people who lost their houses, their house owners. So these people, many of them moved to the houses with, they are selected with lottery, and many of them moved to these houses. But there are some houses still building. So there were like 4 main container cities remaining in the area. So people from other container cities who didn't get the lottery were moved to these cities, and they were waiting for their turn to get a new house. And this is the situation. And something I observed was people really changed their house and surroundings, such as in these pictures. They commonly build like a balcony space outside. This is a childcare place, an extension to the house, because we have a big balcony culture. People try to make the area beautiful, and they create hobbies for themselves by planting greens, and they usually use outside to interact with each other. At least according to my research this summer, I talked to like 100 people, and many of them use this outside area. So these container houses are not, for my opinion, they should not be considered as just house, but with their surrounding. So I thought maybe we can improve the situation, not only focusing on the house, but by focusing the whole container city center. And that's it for me.
Okay, anyway, okay, I mean, we are human beings, so from Japan, from Turkey, I mean, people are not so very different. So the living there, living condition there is always important. So we have to keep thinking about it when we have a disaster. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Shahiro, and your excellent team. So because the time is a little pushing, so I want to move to next presentation. So if you have any question, I think you should have a lot of questions or concerns about their studies. So let's communicate in our dinner time, so you can direct ask questions to them. Thank you very much. Our next presentation will be given by Professor Furuhashi Hirofumi. He's from Academic Research and Institutional Industrial Collaboration Management Office of Kyushu University, and also Kyushu University Open Innovation Platform Company Limited. So today he will give a talk titled Overview of Open Innovation Platform and Startup Co-Creation at Kyushu University.
Sorry. So I'd like to express my sincere appreciation for the valuable opportunity to present at such a wonderful gathering. As Sensei kindly introduced, my name is Hiro Furuhashi, and I am a faculty member at Kyushu University and responsible for intellectual property management and also startup creation. At the same time, I also serve as a CEO of a fully owned subsidiary of Kyushu University called OIP, Open Innovation Platform. So today, I'd like to introduce an overview of our industry, academia, co-creation activities. So Kyushu University's current vision is to be a university that drives social change with integrated knowledge. The demand for industry academia co-creation is increasing in today's society. To further enhance such activity, we established the Open Innovation Platform, commonly known as OIP Corporation, a fully owned subsidiary of Kyushu University. So, however, what we value in our OIP is whether our activities contribute to the continuous improvement of education and research in the university, ensuring the sustainability of the innovation ecosystem. This is the foundation for our decisions in expanding our initiatives. So the goal of OIP is to reach integrated knowledge and societal needs by activities such as marketing research results or commercialization, and exploring future societal challenges, proposing solutions through backcasting, and forming collaborative projects with industry. So our achievement in our organizational collaboration, university startups, and patent licensing have been steadily growing. The number of startups here includes not only those based on based on university research results, but also startups initiated by students to address social issues. So the number of universities technology-based startups will be mentioned separately later. From 22 to 23, a total of patent licensing revenue exceeded 1.2 billion yen, which is about 325 million Turkish. However, our efforts to explore the ideal societal state and propose solutions using integrated knowledge are still in their early stages. So here is a summary of the university's intellectual property related activities. Invention disclosures in our university are approximately 200 to 300 annually. Patent licensing revenue has been increasing and reached 600 million yen, which is about 162 million Turkish, ranking second among Japanese universities in the 2022 fiscal year and fifth in the 2021 fiscal year. please. And university startups creation. We have established 94 startups in total, which are based on university's intellectual properties, with about 5 new ones established each year. Then here is the overview of our activities in collaborative research. The table on the left here shows ranking of Japanese universities in terms of the number of collaborative research projects and the amount of funding received from private companies here. So Kyushu University ranks 7th in the number of projects and 8th in funding received with approximately 700 to 900 projects and over 2.5 to 3 billion yen, which is about 800 million Turkish liras in funding annually. We are currently in the process of developing an innovation park near the university. Our OIP office has also relocated to this innovation park recently. Here, we aim to centralize the network of scattered information, facilities, and human assets within the university. While online communication has become common during the pandemic, we aim to support industry academia co-creation here that fosters ideas that require face-to-face interactions and feasibility studies that prioritize experimentation. In addition to the existing industry academia co-creation support functions of OIP, we have recently equipped ourselves with 2 powerful new functions. The first one is evergreen fund called Innovation Challenge Fund, which will support startup creation and provide funding for proof of concept. And second is the establishment of contract development corporation, specialized in development to connect with companies. A prime example is the launch of EUV Photon, a subsidiary of OIP specializing in EUV irradiation and analysis. So EUV stands for extreme ultraviolet, a key process for evaluating next generation semiconductor materials. By addressing challenges such as limited domestic access to EUV facilities and high testing costs and leveraging the university's material development strengths, this initiative shows how academia can drive high-value manufacturing ecosystems. So what OIP aims to do through the 2 new functions is to step outside the university, accelerate societal implementation, and make the economic impact, contributing to the sustainable improvement of university education and research, and forming an R&D community surrounding the university, so that creating jobs for highly skilled human resources educated at our university. From here, I'd like to take the remaining time to give a brief overview of the startup cooperation at Kyushu University. So at Kyushu University, we are actively promoting the enhancement of entrepreneurship education at the Robotic Farm Entrepreneurship Center at QREC as a part of our startup creation effort. Also, we are improving support system for startup education, startup creation, such as the operation of our university own gap fund. Through this gap fund, we have actually supported 48 projects in the past 6 years, resulting in the establishment of 22 startups, with 6 of them raising more than $1 million in funding. Furthermore, we are enhancing the level of our organization for the management of utilizing of the intellectual property. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, ranking second among Japanese universities in terms of licensing revenue in the 2020 fiscal year. So our startup support system is primarily operated by OIP. OIP is engaged in continuous activities related to the identification of intellectual property, intellectual property strategy development support, and business development support. Additionally, to promote startup creation, the Innovation Challenge Fund, supported by a newly established startup co-creation fund at Kyushu University. The fund size is going to be about 2.5 billion Japanese yen, which is about 677 million rupees. This provides funding to obtain proof of concept, as mentioned in the previous slide. It also supports the matching and formation of startup management talent and teams, and offers acceleration and mentoring programs. Furthermore, we will further enhance our collaboration with QREC's entrepreneurship education for prospective startup management talent. Your donation to the Startup Co-Creation Fund will help us accelerate groundbreaking innovations. As mentioned in the previous slide, Kyushu University has created 94 startups based on its research outcomes. And here we have illustrated 14 of them. Actually, four of these companies here have already gone public, which suggests that the success rate of startups based on the university intellectual property is generally high, reflecting the high level of Kyushu University's intellectual property. I would now like to provide an overview of some of the companies we have highlighted here. As of August 1st, 2025, the total market capitalization of these publicly listed startups reached approximately 180 billion Japanese yen, which is about 48 billion rupees. So, our overview of some of our technology-based startups. Picosera, established in 2008, was proprietary mesh Wi-Fi technology that is highly stable even in poor radio wave environments. By integrating this technology into wireless communication infrastructure, it not only creates more comfortable wireless environment, but also serves as a foundation for edge computing. So next one is Q-AOS. established in 2015, has an exclusive license to the hyperfluorescence technology that takes OLED. OLED stands for organic light emitting diodes to the next level with higher efficiency, wider color gamuts, and longer lifetimes. Originally developed at Kyushu University, QLAC's mission is to create the future of OLED technology based on its innovative material and advanced software technologies. The company is developing an organic photonics ecosystem in the Kyushu region to realize the full potential of OLED display and lighting technologies. The third one is JCCL, founded in 2020. Is trying to achieve a sustainable carbon neutral society with state-of-the-art carbon dioxide capture and resource recovery technology that were developed also at our university with support from the New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization, NEDO, Japan Science and Technology Agency, JST, and also Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA. JCCL holds IPRs and know-how related to the carbon dioxide recovery technology developed at our university, and they engaged in the development of technology, product, and businesses. So finally, please let me briefly introduce two major national programs that support startup creation. First, the PARKS program is a regional initiative involving 20 universities in Kyushu and Okinawa region in Japan. Kyushu University leads the effort coordinating gap funding and entrepreneurship education to strengthen the startup ecosystem across the region. And also, under the leadership of Vice President Akashi Sensei and with Professor Todaka Sensei, we secured a major AMED grant focused on the medical sector. Kyushu University acts as a hub for promising seeds from Western Japan, providing incubation and networking support at the newly constructed R&D building next to the university hospital, which was shown in the Sensei's slide actually. This program is closely linked with OIP to accelerate medical innovation. In Kyushu, we say no CXO, no problem. In the PARKS program, we have built a pool of over 800 external talents, including entrepreneurs and executives, to match with academic researchers. In 2024 fiscal year alone, 900 candidates applied to join about 30 research-based startup projects, which is a surprise for us. Our data show a strong presence of experienced managers from Tokyo and Kansai area across roles such as CEO, COO, and CFOs. So this is it from me. Teşekkür ederim. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Furuhashi. So, any questions to him about the innovation and OIP? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor. We have more questions. Actually, there's a poster display over there, shows the outline of this OIP, and also in the dinner program, you can also contact with him. Okay, we are coming to the final presentation. This presentation will be given by, as I said, our alumni member, Mr. Murad Hosoglu. Yes, he will share some experience when studying at Kyushu University.
Hello everyone. Thank you for being here, especially our guests who came all the way from Japan. Today, before I start my presentation, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Murad Hosoglu. I am a former master's student from Kyushu University, and I completed my master's degree in civil engineering, and I graduated in this March of this year. And currently, I'm working at the Nuclear Regulatory Authority of Türkiye as an assistant nuclear regulatory specialist. So today, I would like to, share some of my experiences in Japan and at Kyushu University. My journey in Japan started after I received a scholarship from the Ministry of Education of Türkiye. The scholarship is called YLSY. And for those who do not know this scholarship and who wants to study abroad, I strongly recommend this scholarship. So the scholarship basically covers all of your expenses during your education, and it also provides some job opportunities after your graduation. So, and in October 2020, I went to Japan to learn Japanese. I studied Japanese for 18 months. And in April 2022, I got accepted as a research student at Kyushu University. And 6 months later, I got accepted as a master's student at Kyushu University. Then in March 2025, I graduated. And shortly after, I come back to Türkiye and start my career. And when I talk to Turkish people about my experiences in Japan, and they're mostly asking me questions about learning language and my master's student period. So today I would like to go into more detail on these two topics. So my language school was in Fukuoka City, and it was an international school. There were many different people from many different places. So I really enjoyed studying Japanese with all those people. It was a mind-opening experience for me, seeing all those people from different countries and knowing them, knowing their culture. It was really mind-opening for me, and it was really fun. However, if you did your research about Japanese language, it is one of the hardest languages in the world. So it was also one of my challenging periods in my life. So, as I told you before, if you just take out your phone and search the hardest languages in the world, you will see Japanese is definitely one of them. And especially if you're 28 years old, at that time I was 28 years old, and if you're starting to learn Japanese from zero, even your families and friends start to worry about you, whether you can succeed or not. However, I was lucky. I had that scholarship and the job opportunities after graduation really motivated me. So I was able to study long hours. Basically, I was going to school in the morning studying Japanese, and after that, I was going to one of the libraries in the vicinity and keep studying. Basically, I was always every day I was doing the same routine. And after 1 year later, I was able to have a meaningful daily conversations with Japanese people. And after 14 months, I was able to pass the N2 level from Japanese language proficiency test. So for those who wants to go to Japan and study do your studies in Japanese, or who wants to work in Japan, so N2 is a important certificate. Just remember that, and it takes time to come to that point. So be patient, please. And my master, being a master student at Kyushu University is like having a full-time job. So I was going to the university in the morning, and I was staying there until my professor left. It is very important. You cannot leave before your professor. He was very strict. And usually, so I would like to talk about my research a bit. I was studying on reinforced concrete beams and strengthening methods. Basically, I was preparing the beams, I was making the experiments, I was gathering the data after the experiment and analyzing the data to see whether these reinforcing method, these strengthening methods are effective or not. And you can see some pictures from my laboratory. If you're a master's student at Kyushu University, you will have your own desk, you will have your own computer, and basically we have everything in the laboratory. So we even have the refrigerators, microwaves, so you don't even have to leave to heat up your food. So Japanese, I think the university wants you to really stay in the laboratory. So, and if you are if you finish your research, you will have a chance to attend some international conferences. After I finished mine, me and my professor Tamai Sensei, we went to Singapore to attend one of those international conferences. It was my first time making a presentation in front of that many people, so this is my second time. Actually, I'm still nervous, so I'm hoping that I'm doing well. And the lab gatherings, it is the most important part for me. So basically, you and people inside in your laboratory are going to some izakaya or some restaurants together, and your professors are coming, and you are eating some delicious Japanese food. You are talking, and it is a great opportunity for you to break the ice between the people in your laboratory. We also had some barbecue parties at the university. And actually there are many events at the university. If you want to join, you can join them and you can create your own circle there. You can make lots of friends. And finally, I would like to mention about the visit of the ambassador of Türkiye, Mr. Korkut. He came to our university. He and his colleagues, we had a lunch together, and it was really fun. And also, he was asking all the time if we have any problems. If we have any, they're ready to help us to solve those problems. So sometimes studying in Japan can become a lonely experience. Sometimes you're going to feel lonely. Sometimes you're going to have some problems that you cannot solve by yourselves. So for those times, I strongly recommend for you to go to the embassy, even just to say hi. Just go there, say hi, and trust me, those people are waiting for you and they are ready to help you. And my graduation, so I was really happy at that day and I was proud of myself, but I was also so sad since I was going to leave my friends behind. That day I realized something, so I want to share it here. So studying is really important, whether you study language, whether you study your master's for your master's program. It's really important, but it's also important to make friends. Please, when you go overseas, do not forget to make friends, make some genuine connections. So, and those connections are going to improve your life in the future and really gonna change your life. So do please go out and make some friends. And finally, after I came back home, as I told you before, I'm working at the Nuclear Regulatory Authority of Türkiye, and this pictures on the left is one of our main projects, Akkuyu nuclear power plant, and it is one of the big projects. It is important for my organization, and also it is important for Türkiye since it is our first nuclear power plant, and I really consider myself that I'm able to take part in it. And finally, pictures on the right, you see from the last month, my Japanese friend from Kyushu University and my Italian friend from language school, they came to Istanbul to visit me. We go out together, we had so much fun, we tried some Turkish street food, and we went some historical places. It was really most amazing 3 days for me. And I hope if you go to study abroad, I hope you will also make this kind of meaningful, long-lasting friendships And this kind of friendships are going to be the bridges between the countries, and it is going to help us to understand each other better. Thank you so much. If you have any questions,
Yes. If you have any questions, please ask. Because you just.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed your talk. So my question here is, what made you to go to Japan first, even though you cannot speak any Japanese and you just started from scratch? So why did you want to go to Japan at that time?
Okay. My research was about the structural analysis. The scholarship, the organization that I get the scholarship, they told me to go to one of the best countries in this area. And when it comes to buildings and structural analysis, of course, Japan is one of the best. And I also liked Japan. And I thought learning Japanese would be, nice challenge for myself. Yeah, it was really a growing experience. I appreciate the scholarship for that. And the reason is that, it's that simple. And I didn't have to do my studies in Japanese, of course, but my organization told me that they want to improve the diversity in the company, the organization. So it would be nice to have someone who can speak Japanese, and that's one of the reasons.
Some additional question is that in the master class, you have to learn Japanese. You cannot survive only in English.
Yes, it depends on the classes you take. So there are some classes that you have to, you have to be able to speak and read in Japanese, and there are some classes for English. So I was able to do both. So I was, lucky for 18 months. I really studied. It was really hard. It was really hard, but somehow I managed to do it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations. It's really a challenge. How about the life outside of the university, like in Fukuoka? Can people speak English? How did you mingle with
So first time when I went to Japan, it was Corona period. So I was also scared when I going to Japan. So it was Corona and everyone was panicked. When I first arrived at the airport, I thought there would be someone that I can speak in English. So, but there was some old Japanese gentleman. He was using his hand gestures this way. That's it. And so basically, most of the Japanese people, it's like Türkiye. It is really hard for them to learn Japanese and learn English and speak. And it is also hard for us. And so there are not many people in Japan who speaks English, and that's why I really, if someone wants to go to Japan, work there or study, I really recommend studying Japanese, because if you know Japanese, you can just basically, you have the access everywhere. So it is very important.
Thank you for your presentation and congratulations for your successes.
Thanks so much.
So can you mention a little bit about your earlier education, which university or which department you studied as an undergraduate student? Was it in Turkey or somewhere else? And also, can you give some information about the regulatory authority you work on? How many staff, how big organization, kind of some structural information about it. And third question is, the scholarship you received from the Japanese university or from the Turkish government, or can you clarify that? Thank you.
Okay, I would like to answer one by one. So first, I graduated in 2015 from the Türkiye University. And I don't know, I did my undergraduate at the Türkiye University. So what was the second question?
Department.
Zoology department. Yes.
About your institution,
section is dealing with all the matters connected with the radiation. So, for example, if you are a dentist and if you are using an X-ray machine, like I don't know the detail, but I'm not, you know, it's been 6 months, so I'm not fully, I don't have the full knowledge about those kind of things. I'm still learning. But so if you're planning to have, if your actions related to radioactivity, nuclear regulatory, you have to get a license from us. Otherwise, you cannot do it. So you have to I'm just like I don't have any other comments on that. So it's for example, research reactors that we have in 2 different cities. For example, we also taking care of them. We are just going there. It's under construction right now, and we are strengthening those old research reactors. And I'm also one of the responsible to the materials they use to strengthen those buildings is the same material that I use in the university, in Kyushu University. So I'm also kind of responsible. But most likely I'm working as a civil engineer. Yes.
Source of scholarship.
A source of scholarship, it is a scholarship from the Ministry of Education of Turkey. So to get that scholarship, I really recommend the scholarship, by the way, because it is the amount of money they give you as a scholarship is really good, and you will not have any kind of problems when you're living in Japan. And so the only condition is to come back to Turkey and work for the government or the decided institutions. So for me, I'm going to work in 8 years in Turkey at the Nuclear Regulatory Authority. So, and to get this scholarship, you should definitely check the website. If you write on the Google YLSY, it is really common. It's like most of the universities, I think, know this one. It is around every year, the ministry is sending almost 1,000 people, 1,000 students all around the world to study. So, this helps.
Thank you very much for your very detailed answer. Another maybe simple question?
Thank you again. My question will be about cultural side, besides these things. Have you ever played Go?
Go?
Go.
No.
The original Go, I know Chinese, but I learned Go first of all from my favorite cartoon, Territorial. I think the interaction, how to survive, is very can be learned from this play, and it's the maybe original, I think, chess.
Yes.
Am I right?
I will
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. This is last question.
Thank you, and congratulations again for your graduation.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to ask a question regarding the accommodation in Kyushu. I heard that for a foreigner to rent a house in Japan, you have to have some personal reference or
Yes.
local reference. Is that a problem you face?
Yes, that problem, that Hoshonin no mondai. So if you want to, okay, I just want to say this. So let alone renting a house. So I was using a bike, I have a motorcycle, okay? And I wanted to rent a place that I can put my motorcycle. So when I went to a shop to rent a place, it's like a 1 meter square place. It's a really small place. And I asked them, I wanna rent this. It's a $15 per month. It's really cheap. It was really cheap. And I told them, I don't have any hoshoni. I don't know what to say in English. Hoshoni de not do this.
Guarantee.
Guarantee. Yes, absolutely. And they told me they cannot rent me that place. And I said, it's okay. I don't have hoshoni, but I have money. So I'm going to pay for 1 year all together. Please can you rent me? They said no. So sometimes it's just really problem. Even if you have money, you cannot solve that problem in Japan. And they just refuse the money. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osogu, for a very wonderful presentation as well as sharing the information for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So actually, his information records my memory because I was also an international student in Japan, and like the Hoshoni Mondai was a very key point for us actually. Okay, so now we're coming to the last part of today's symposium. For the closing remarks, we invited Professor Neja Bosta Sayan, the president of Turkish-Japan University's Alumni Association and also the chairman of the Turkish-Japanese Foundation, to come to deliver his closing remarks. But because of sudden infection, so he cannot come. So on behalf of Professor Sayan, Professor Mehmet Okan Akçam from Faculty of Dental Science of Ankara University will give the closing remarks. Professor Okan, please.
Vice President of Kyushu University, dear Professor Shimezu, esteemed professors, distinguished participants, and honored guests. I'm here on behalf of Professor Nejat Borasayan, who is the president of the Turkish-Japanese Foundation and also the president of the Turkish-Japanese Alumni Association. And now I will deliver his message as a closing remark. First of all, I'd like to extend my cordial gratitude to each of you for your participation in the KYUDAI Now Academic Forum organized by Kyushu University. Your presence here today, despite your tight schedules, is a clear indicator to the importance placed on academic and scientific cooperation between Türkiye and Japan. Turkish-Japanese relations, which date back to very early periods of history, have developed steadily over the time. Last year, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of diplomatic relations between our two nations, and relations that began with a spirit of friendship and mutual support. Today, Japan and Türkiye continue to cooperate in a wide range of fields, including diplomacy, technology, science, social development, industry, disaster management, and culture. This strong partnership will definitely continue to contribute to building advanced societies in the years to come. As the Turkish-Japanese Foundation, established in 1993, we remain committed to supporting cultural exchange, disaster preparations, and educational activities, thereby strengthening the ties between our nations and promoting greater understanding of Japan and Japanese people living in Türkiye. In addition, the Turkish-Japanese University's Alumni Association, with which Professor Sayan is currently chair and I am the General Secretary, was founded in 1992, is comprised of members who have studied in Japan. The association continues to support academic initiatives and serve as a bridge for scholars and researchers. We would like to emphasize how pleased we are to support this important forum dedicated to education and academic collaboration, the most essential pillars of our bilateral ties. It is clear that a truly developed society can be achieved only through education. Kyushu University has made a remarkable contribution in recent years to the advancement of academic cooperation between our countries. Through the JMNA project, an office was established at our foundation to support young people interested in pursuing education in Japan, filling a significant gap in Türkiye in this regard. I think unfortunately it will be closed soon, but we extend our sincere appreciation and strong hope that these efforts will continue. Today's program has featured a wide range of highly advanced and productive presentations across various disciplines like evaluations on maritime and border law between Turkey and Japan in the field of international law, the latest methods in radiation-based cancer treatment in the medical sciences, cutting-edge research shaping the future of hydrogen society in the fields of energy and engineering, proposals on urban planning and reconstruction following earthquakes in the field of architecture, and insights into how university and industry collaboration can pave the way for the new initiatives. By the way, I hope Professor Chikuyi will get well soon, and I was actually very impressed from his presentation because he recorded the video in the hospital. We really appreciate him. Thank you very much. And these presentations are not only valuable academic contributions, but also strong indicators of what Turkey and Japan can achieve together in the future. I firmly believe that our gathering here today will open new doors for collaboration not only between Kyushu University and Turkish institutions, but also between the universities and research centers across Japan and Turkey. The mutual exchange in science, culture, and education forms one of the most enduring and impactful pillars of our friendship between our two nations. On this occasion, I'd like to once again express my sincere thanks to Kyushu University, to all distinguished speakers, to every member of the organizing team, and to all of you whose participation has enriched this forum. Wishing for an even stronger academic ties between Turkey and Japan in the years ahead, I extend my respectful greetings to you all. Thank you very much. 本当にどうもありがとうございます。